Spartan Dogs, woof woof, back at home, Breslin Center. Go green, go white with it. You know what it is. Tom Izzo never retiring, but when I do retire, I'm going to retire like the guy who never said he's going to retire. They host Minnesota. Should be a win. Also, on the contrary, Minnesota may be a pissed off Minnesota right now. Does that matter at all?
Why would they be pissed off?
They just lost at home to Iowa
You know why else they might be pissed off?
because they got to play them dogs. Woof woof.
No, there's another reason.
I don't know why.
Family revenge.
Richard Pitino?
Cam Christie.
Oh, got it. You've had this one circled.
Yeah. We're either going to get a Cam Christie 0 game or a Cam Christie career high in the Breslin, and it could get bad for me.
How do you think the Christie family feels about Michigan State?
I don't think they like them.
Why?
Because I don't think that they think they did right by their son.
Even though he started every game and had the ball in his hands constantly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Even though he made the NBA, got drafted as a one and done.
Yeah. They cut his PB&J in triangles instead of rectangles, and that really threw a wrench in things.
How do you feel about the Christie family? I know you've been prone to holding grudges against families.
Really?
Yeah.
What's one family I hold a grudge against?
The Stafford children.
I don't hold a grudge against them. I do hold a grudge against the Christie family because, like you stated, all we did was play their son 40 minutes a game and let him shoot whenever he wants, and he didn't make any shots, and that's our fault.
Okay, if you could, would you take Cam Christie in green and white right now?
Me personally, no.
Likely a 4-year player, shooting 39% from three on 80 attempts this season as a freshman. Looks pretty damn good. Kind of looks like Max Christie, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, me personally, I'll die before I let my enemies shine.
So you view them as an op. The Christie family is an op.
1,000%.
Okay. So in that sense, I mean, we're talking like Cam Christie's like a superstar from Minnesota. That's not the case. His season high is 20, and he had it once. Is there like a game plan here? Like, does Michigan State come into this one like, hey, you're going to make Cam Christie's life hell for 40 minutes tonight?
Well, honestly, I don't think they're going to go out there with that mentality. But anytime you throw Midas Sissoko on the floor, everyone's in danger. So I think they're just going to maybe assume that he might catch a little something. But I will say this. I'm more afraid for this game than I should be because I actually think that Washington has some guys. More specifically, I think they got some front court players.
Washington?
Minnesota.
You just said Washington has some guys.
Did I say Washington?
You are not locked in at all now.
I said Minnesota.
You said Washington. You
Oh.
said I think that Washington has some guys.
I think that Minnesota has some guys, more specifically in the front court area with Joseph and Pharrell Payne and Dawson Garcia, that I think can, cause Michigan State issues. And I'll never, ever feel completely, supremely confident coming into a game when the other team has a good post player. Like, that's just how it's going to go for me. And they got some guys that can make some plays. Hawkins is a guy that can make plays. Carrington can knock down. Mitchell can knock down shots. Ben Johnson, I think, has done a good job with this Minnesota team, contrary to what I thought they were going to be coming into the season. So it's a game that Michigan State's going to need to be locked in for. Let's just say that. I don't think like Minnesota is going to roll over and die by any, stretch of the imagination.
Okay. You're not locked in. That's just never seen that before. Talking about Washington. Mulcahy on the mind. That's what's going on.
I still think I said Minnesota. I'll go back and watch the film.
We'll cut the tape. This officially feels like a look ahead spot for the Spartan program. Carter Elliott's talking Washington right now. You mentioned the front court. That got me thinking. This is a tough game because Minnesota's front court's better than ours. Can we go through the rest of the opponents on the schedule? Can you tell me the first time you have a game where you think your front court's not the worst front court in the game?
I don't think there's any point in doing that.
Okay. Well, I just like is that like it's not like a Minnesota feature that they have the better front court, right?
No, it's just there's a difference between better front court though and good front court players. Like Dawson Garcia is nice.
Yeah, that's
Pharrell Payne is nice.
true. Okay. You're right. Is there a world where Dawson Garcia is the best player in this game?
There is a world, yes, but Tyson's the best player in the game.
Yeah, I agree with you on paper, obviously, but I don't know. Garcia's been very, very good at times this year, and I'm happy for him. He's like finally on a team with a decent record. I think some of Minnesota's stuff this year has been that they just had a really, really easy non-conference schedule. The guys at Hoops were talking about this week. Like they racked up a bunch of wins against teams in the Ken Pom 200s to 300s. Like they lost every game they played against a team with a pulse. Right now they have a couple good conference wins. You give them credit. Nebraska at home, Michigan on the road, Maryland at home. You got to win games like that to be competitive in this conference, but they still haven't really done anything super impressive to me this season. Going on the road to the Breslin Center and being competitive would be impressive. Dawson Garcia, 30 points last game against Iowa. Caveat being that was Iowa. 36 points now over a month ago at Ohio State on the road. Caveat being that was Ohio State, also not the most intent defensive team I've ever seen, but he's been in double figures every game that he's played full minutes this year. He's really, really good. He's been in like 20 and above a bunch of times. There is a world where he's just like an unstoppable matchup. I think Malik Hall draws him, but I don't think there's much Malik Hall can do to stop him, is there?
Yeah, I mean Garcia is taller than him. I know that for sure. And he's very dynamic, so it's going to be a very tough check for Malik Hall, surely. And Dawson Garcia is the better player in that matchup, so that'll definitely be an interesting one to see how that plays out. But yeah, this Minnesota team, they got guys also at the same time. If I'm not mistaken, is their only road win this year at Michigan?
Correct.
Yeah, so they really don't even have a road win. They went to Value City Arena. Ohio State lost. They went to Assembly Hall, lost. They don't have the ability to go on the road and win in the Big Ten against teams that I think are arguably good. So I don't think they're going to be able to. I don't think they're going to have the cojones to come into Breslin and get a win.
Yeah, I was at that game for the record, and you're right. No home court whatsoever. With that said, I was texting you. Minnesota was down for much of the game early. Minnesota was outplaying Michigan by a good amount, in my opinion. Like the takeaway from seeing them in person was this is a very connected team. Like Ben Johnson actually has this team like doing a lot of very good little things in a way that has not been noticeable for me with Minnesota in the past. So I think like even on the road or like if you're the home team and you're a better team playing Minnesota, it's a game you can't totally sleepwalk in because they're not just like a cupcake anymore. They are a team that, like, if you let them hang around, they will hang around. They have talent in the backcourt. They have talent in the front court. They play the right way. They do the right things. They're just not as good as most teams they play. They're not as good as Michigan State, but if Michigan State doesn't show up, if they look ahead, if they think they're Washington, suddenly that gets a little dicey.
Don't put this on me.
Well,
You are pre-preparing. You are in preparation of a loss, making me the skate bear.
I'm not preparing for a loss. You called them Washington. That's crazy. I mean,
They're similar.
are they?
No, Washington's actually kind of okay.
See, now you're making it worse on Minnesota here. You wanted to play this game last time we talked about Michigan State. Who's going to show up for this game? I think that's a fun Spartan game to do every game, pretty much at this point. Who's going to show up and who's not going to show up?
AJ will show up. Tyson will show up. Everyone in the backcourt will show up. Jaden, Trey, they all show up. There might be one more person who shows up. It won't be Malik Hall, won't be Sissoko, won't be Cooper. I think it'll be Cohen Carr. Cohen Carr career high game in this one.
Interesting. Okay, that would be fun. I would like that. I have a prediction.
Yes,
There's one player on this Michigan State roster who is from Minneapolis. Do you know who it is?
it is Jiggy T Raw,
I think we're about to get a Trey Holloman legacy game card.
but it's not Alcorn State.
It's not Alcorn State. I think Trey's been good. I think Trey's due for a really good game in Big Ten play, in a game where like you really need it. Not saying you're going to really need it. I think Michigan State can win this one comfortably, but this is his first game against his home state school. You got to remember, you didn't play Minnesota last year. That game got canceled due to COVID very late in the season. Remember that cost you like the fourth place in the Big Ten banner. I remember people were real upset about that.
The fourth place in the Big Ten banner.
Yeah,
Really?
at the time, I remember we were in West Lafayette. You were really upset that we didn't get to do that whole thing. But anyways, yeah, Holloman. I think Holloman sticks it to his home state in this one. I'm talking like a 23-point Trey Holloman night.
Yeah, a little showing out for his future team.
No,
I
stop that.
I know, I know.
Stop.
I know he's gonna be a Spartan. I had that narrative coming to the season. It's funny looking back now because it was wrong.
That's gross. That's gross. Okay, what's your prediction in this game?
I got Michigan State by 20, actually. I
Okay.
think they run away with this with the Breslin.
What they beat Rutgers by was 73-55, I think.
Yeah.
I predict 73-55. Michigan State beats Minnesota. And Trey
Will
Holloman
the rest be good?
refs will be great. Yeah.
Yeah, they will. They will. They'll do their job.